I just wanted to give you a quick overview on how to set up your Webull desktop setup so it looks similar to mine. You can make it look any way you want, but this is how I have mine set up. I'll show you which indicators I use and how I have everything here. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is go over on the left-hand side and click on Customize. There's a bunch of different options, of course, your markets, your screeners, so you can go through anything that you're looking for, but we're going to be working with Customized. When you go into your Customize, you're going to want to click this plus so you can get a new layout. Notice I have different layouts for different monitors I have. So I have a monitor on my left, but this one's only a 1080p monitor. That's this one. The one that I have in front of me, you guys are seeing now, that's this trading setup. If I was on my MacBook, you can see right here, it's got a MacBook. So each one of these are individualized for exactly what I'm doing. So in this case, I'm going to show you off of my main. Now this is a 1440p monitor, so the resolution is completely different than everybody else's. You could have 1080, 1440, 4K. So this is all going to be different depending on your monitor. So let me close this out. So the first thing that we want to start with is this graph. Now everything that you want on this display is all going to be found over here in these widgets. All right. So if I click on chart, you can now see that this is the chart. So this is the exact chart that you're looking at. You can see here, I can resize it. I can put it anywhere I want. I can actually put it on top of the other chart. I can pull it out just like that. If I don't want it, I can click here on the three little hamburger menu and I can say remove chart. So that is how you set up your chart. Now inside of my chart, I've got options because I like to trade options, as you can see here. And then of course, inside of options, you can change all of this, but let me show you how you set this options up. So again, over here in the add widget, we click on the options and there it is. So what we want to do is we want to then drag it onto the window that you want to see. Notice they're now tabs. Okay. Now, if you want this tab of options to be the same as the chart, so notice it says Tesla, where I could have this something else. You want to link everything by this group. So you'll notice all of them change now. This grouping means any window that you make anywhere in here will be linked to this group. So right now, this is group one. If I wanted to, I could say, hey, I want this to be group one. And maybe I want Tesla in here. Now notice when I make this change, this is going to change with it as well. Boom, there's Tesla. So maybe I've got a 1 minute here and a 5 minute here, and that's how I'm trading it today. Or maybe I want to look at Tesla options here while I'm watching the 1 minute. But notice it stays with the group. So you want to group together individual items that you want. If you had news out here just for them, you could group that together. So over here, notice I've got group one because if I click on news, I can see the news for Tesla just by clicking news right here. If I go to SPY, you'll notice all the news information changes for SPY, right? So anything I'm looking at will change. So you can see group one here, group one here, group one here. Now, the way that I like to keep it set up is I just like to have multiple displays on here. Typically, I'm running SPY, QQQ for overall market, and then I'll run Tesla usually just first thing in the day just so I have it. As you're progressing through this, when you want to make those changes permanent, click on the icon up here that says Save as Customized Layout, and you can name it anything you want. That'll be in there. Every little change and tweak you make, though, make sure that you are changing that every single time. So if I made a little setting and I said, oh, I want my options to have this type of setting. Let me close this one. I don't need this options. Remove. Notice you can just drag these out, by the way. And if I want to get rid of it, hamburger menu, remove. Just like that. Makes it extremely easy if I want to add more widgets. You can see here, I can also do it from here. If I want to copy these options, I can do the exact same thing here. Just like once I've created. So again, if I wanted to create this one down here, remember I go to widgets, chart, put it exactly where I want it. And these all snap when they get close to things. Put it wherever I want it. I can change all the settings in here inside of my chart settings. So if I want to show the extended hours, which you always do, I can show flashing light when the stock market opens. I can put everything that I want in here. Anything that I want to trade, how it wants to look. All these, though, I keep on by default. So really, of course, make sure you got extended hours. Otherwise, you won't see the gray area, which means non-market time. Now, the good thing is, once I've created this graph, let me get this one out of the way. So once I've set one up and I just want to duplicate it to other things, if I click on this here and I just say copy chart, boom, there's another one. Then I can snap that right where I want, make it any size I want. We're done. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. So once you've set one up, you can set a bunch up. Let me remove this chart. Just like that. Now, if you want a multi-display setup like I have, what you can do is, if you go over here and click on this, you can say clone this window. Once I've cloned this window, notice everything I had is now a duplicate. I can now drag this to any other monitor that I have. All right. And then you can do the exact same thing. And then save that one as a different name, you know, monitor 2, monitor 3, monitor, whatever you want. So that's what that looks like. Now, over here on the left, I always keep my watch list, and I have a bunch of watch lists if I'm like wanting to write covered calls. So right now I've identified these are good covered calls. If I'm actively trading stocks, right, like these will change the way that I want. How do I get the watch list? Same thing again. Remember, everything is going to be over here, everything you want. So as you're clicking through here, and you're going to find different things that you're interested in, different things that you want, this is where you'll grab it. So all I did was I grabbed this watch list, did the same thing. It created that little chart. I dragged it over here and made it the size that I want. Now notice down here on the bottom, this is also a watch list that's running. You can see it right here. And then I can tell it, what do I want it to be running? I can click the refresh data if it's not refreshing, so on. Over here for trading, same thing again. We just go to our add widgets, trade, and however you like to trade. A lot of people like to trade different. Okay, I've seen people that love the active trading where you just click buy, sell right away. And you can change all of this information by always clicking the hamburger menu, active trade settings, change it any way you want. You want to change it, you want to buy a market, or you want to buy bid, or you want to buy the ask. Same thing with the sells. How do you want your buttons to look? Same thing when you place orders for options. You can have options in there. You can set all that up. Let me close that. So same thing. So that's what this is, right? You can see here that I use this classic trade. This is what I like to do. If I go into my trade settings, this is what my trades look like. All right. I always have limit. I always start with a quantity. You don't know which quantity you're going to have. I mean, you might buy 10,000 shares of a penny stock, or you might buy 100 of Tesla. So it's really depends on what you're going to do. Make sure you have extended hours set. If you do not, and you are trying to buy shares before the market opens, you're going to go, holy shnikes, why can't I buy shares right now? That's why that check mark's not on there. I always have a stop loss order at the exact time I make a purchase, because a lot of times I'm in a super volatile, you know, those fast running stocks, and I don't want it to knife pull on me and then there goes 10 grand. So I always have a stop loss that I can drag, and through training, I will show you guys what I do with that. Remember this though, with this check mark on, if you are trying to trade pre-market, because typically you cannot put a stop loss in pre-market because it'll say the amount you're trying to set is higher than the amount it closed the day before. So what you have to do is, when you're in here purchasing pre-market, and this is why I tell you guys every day, pre-market is riskier because you cannot set those stops. So if I'm buying pre-market, I have to remove this check mark. When it's regular market, it's always on by default. I had a question yesterday. Somebody asked me if I should have the take profits on. I never do that. I don't want it to get to a ceiling, cut it off. But what if it keeps going? We use that with the stop loss or a trailing stop, right? We don't want to go, oh, and it gets to $4, just sell it all. Okay, well, what if it goes to 5 or 6 or 7 or 8? Because we could set the stop loss at $3.99, right? So it doesn't do this, but that way we can just let it keep riding. So I never use take profits. That's completely up to you. When you're setting up your stop loss, this is cool. You can tell it, I want the stop loss to be set by a dollar amount or by a percentage. Again, that's up to you. If you're buying the same types of things, then use that link. Somebody give Diesel Bear that link that we're all in. But anyways, it's completely up to you and how you want to do it. Thank you, Serge. So that's how that's set up. I also sometimes you can notice that I have the active trade in there. So again, I went to add widget. I went to active trade. All I did was I grabbed it and I put it right in here with that. So you can see now it's got the tabs for my active trade. If I don't want it in there, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to pull it out, click the hamburger menu, get rid of it. Okay, if you have level 2, which I highly recommend every single person in here gets, I think it's $1.50 or $1.99. Make sure you click on this right here for your level 2. Same thing, you want to click on the add widget. Is it general? Nope. Market. I believe so. Bear with me. Is it quote? Yeah, it is under quote. Order book, key statistic, time and sales is also another really good one. Not order book. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so it's under order book. I was thinking time and sales. Well, let me show you what that looks like too. So that's the order book. So the order book, same thing again. I just made a little window here. You can resize any of these just like any windows that you use. Order books are fantastic to see what levels, what walls people are buying and selling at. On the left is a buy, on the right is a sell. Let me get rid of this. Another good indicator you could use right here is put it right up in there is your time and sales. So I can see exactly when people were buying, what they were selling, what market they were using it from, and how many shares were bought and sold. Sometimes this will be good for you guys. When you're starting to see a trend, you'll start seeing, tons of buyers or tons of sellers, and it lets you know right away. It's a good in combination with your level 2. I'm just so used to working with volume that I don't have to look at it anymore, but that's completely up to you if you want to use that or not. Same thing over here. I always keep the key stats on the companies themselves. The reason that is, let me open this up. The reason this is because I want to see what the volume is for the day. So I always check their volume matched up against their average volume, right? And here's more information about it to kind of give me an idea of what it's doing on there. All right. So the stop loss should always be 2%. No, never. That's just the default so that I always know to have my stop loss on. It can be anything you want. Fast moving volatile stocks can move 10, 15% in, under 30 seconds. So you got to adapt and adjust the way that your stop is set, depending on your risk management, how many shares and how much money you have into it, and other factors. So no, it is not a hard and fast true ever 2% on that. Working orders down here. Okay, we want this working orders. So this tells me as I'm trying to buy shares or options, this will say in here what the orders are. I always want to make sure I know what's working, because what if I tried to buy it at a limit, missed it, I didn't get it. Well, I want to see in here. Then I can right click, modify it, cancel it, add to it, change it. That'll all be inside of here. Same thing again. Everything will always be inside the widgets. So there's your orders right there. Okay, put that anywhere you want on your display, and you guys can take a screenshot of this. All right, and then that'll give you that. My account details, I don't really use a ton. That just tells me how much buying power I have, my options buying power. I dropped more money in here today, like I told you guys, just so I would be above the PDT myself, so I can do more trades for you guys. Typically, this is my smaller account, so that, I just use this for really small, quick scalping, but this is what I will primarily use with you guys. So as soon as these funds clear, I'll then turn this into a margin account, which is how you want to set it up after you have the 25K in there, so you can do unlimited trading for everything. That way, when I'm training you guys, I can buy and sell everything all the time just to show you guys what's going on. So if you want that account detail information, put that wherever you want. And by the way, this video, it will be licensed, so you are not allowed to share this video anywhere without written consent from myself or American Dream Trading. Legal. Positions. I always have my positions here. This will tell me anything that I have that I currently own, whether it's shares or options. It will list all of the positions here. Again, add widgets. Is it stocks? Bear with me. I don't ever, once I have it set up, I forget it. Right there, it's kind of a setup and forget type of situation. So there it is. So right there are your positions. Again, you can put that anywhere you want. Some of the other items that I like to watch for are tops. Now this one, I go to market. Yeah, top gainers and top losers. So this is a nice indicator to let me know like what's going on, what's crashing, what's not. Like HSDT right now, let me show you, like I can go, okay, why is this crashing? I can click HSDT and I can see it. I can go to the news and get an idea. And then of course, I'm going to go to other sites. I'm going to figure out what's going on. You know, why is it doing that? So I'm going to figure it out from there, but it'll start to give me an idea of what exactly is going on. Hopefully that makes sense. Watch lists, if you have any watch lists, again, there's that time and sales. So what I do in conjunction with, if I'm just watching it, typically I will have my time of sales up and this up, and then I'm studying it to see what's going on. And then of course, once I start buying, I'll have my positions open, which of course will give me an idea of exactly what I paid, last price, where it's at, what it's doing, you know, profit and loss for the day, etc. So that's how all of these are set up. You can change any of your settings. I can't go in here because it might actually give out like my actual account details, but you can go into settings and you can change it into this dark mode versus light mode, which is what I prefer. It's completely up to you. I hate turning it on in the morning and the whole thing is blinding me because it's so bright. So I prefer this dark mode, but it's really up to you. On this screen, you can see this gray area. This means pre-market. When it goes black, you can see at 9:30, this will be market hours. Okay. Indicators that I use, let me show you here real quick. I use a moving average of 9. If I go to edit, you can see right here. So moving average is 9. If I wanted it to be 24, you just simply change it. It'll change it on here right on the fly. Okay. So I always use a moving average of 9. Why is that? Because I'm a day trader and I'm scalping right now. Right? If I wasn't day trading, I could go longer. But I want to see fast movements. That's why I do that. I also use a super trend, which is just kind of cool. It's a good indicator. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the Elliott wave oscillator, which is right here. You can see once it changes direction, especially off the Elliott wave oscillator, you can see right here. Let me cancel this. You can see right here that once it changes direction, it will then indicate on here with a little green situations like, hey, direction change. You can see right here, direction change, right? So that's kind of a good indicator of what happened, you know, what's it doing? It's changing. Really should have had my focus off. Sorry about that. Give me one moment. Bear with me. Technical difficulties. There we go. So anyways, that's why I have it set the way that I do. Hope that made sense. I know I kind of went through that pretty fast, but so that's the super trend. Let me go in here, edit indicators. You can always edit your indicators. VWAP, you always have to have VWAP, right? That's the volume average weighted price. It tells you exactly what the stock is thinking its value is. And the only reason all of these things are the way they are, like the reason it gives it power, is because we're all using it. If no one was using a volume weighted average price, it would make no sense to use it because no one would care when it touches it and it wouldn't change direction or do anything with it. But because everyone uses it, it becomes a real situation. So now we know if it bounces off VWAP or goes below VWAP, right? then other people are thinking that it's, bullish or bearish. So that's why these matter. That's the only reason why these matter. It's just a human thing of us saying that matters. So there's the Elliott wave oscillator. You can see the colors I use: green, of course, when it's bullish, red when it's bearish. Those are the main ones I use, but you can use any one you want. And here, if you go into your technical signals, it'll tell you everything about what they are, why they are, what they're doing, which is really cool. If you're using TD Ameritrade, this is all pretty much the same thing. They just call it, I think it was like strategic indicators, if I remember right. But it's all the exact same thing. So this is exactly how you set it up. This is everything that I use all day, every day. You don't need much more than that. Again, I have it set up on my laptop in case my system crashes. So I'll always run it, even though if I'm not in it, I'm still going to have it running. That way, if I need a backup and boom, I can, tether it to my phone if the internet goes down or if the computer blue screens and I'm in a massive situation. So always have a laptop or a tablet or a phone or some kind of secondary if you're doing, especially when you're doing, big whale moves, right? Always make sure you have a backup system and backup internet to make sure you guys are covered. So that's going to do it today. Remember, all trades are risky, so make sure you guys use your stops. Thank you for being the best part of American Dream Trading. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that are here.